Today we'll recap the whole story of another avatar named Korra. Avatar. The Legend of Korra is an animated TV show that came after the popular animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. It ran for 52 episodes over 4 seasons from 2012 to 2014 and takes place in the same world where there are 4 nations, each with people who can bend one of the 4 elements: water, earth, fire, and air. First, there are waterbenders from the water tribe. They can control water in its different forms, like ice and liquid. Then there are earthbenders from the Earth Kingdom. They can move rocks, soil, and even metal. Airbenders, who are air nomads, can control the air and use it to fly and avoid attacks. Finally, there are firebenders from the Fire Nation, who can create and control fire with a fierce and aggressive style. And there's a special person called the Avatar. The Avatar can bend all 4 elements: water, earth, fire, and air, and their job is to keep peace in the world. The Legend of Korra follows a new character, Avatar Korra. She's a 17-year-old girl from the Southern Water Tribe and is the successor to Avatar Aang from the previous series. Now, let's dive into her story. 70 years after the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender, a group called the Order of the White Lotus finds the new Avatar, Korra, in the Southern Water Tribe. At 17 years old, Korra has already learned how to control water, earth, and fire, but she's struggling with airbending. The White Lotus keeps her hidden and safe, but she's frustrated because she's isolated from the rest of the world. She's really looking forward to completing her training with Master Tenzin. However, Tenzin is also part of the Council for the United Republic, a new nation that Avatar Aang and Fire Lord Zuko created between the 2 series. There's a lot of trouble in the capital, Republic City, so Tenzin can't start Korra's training right away. Feeling trapped, Korra decides to leave the White Lotus compound. She escapes on her huge polar bear dog, Naga, and sneaks onto a ship heading to Republic City, a bustling and rapidly changing place where world events happen. Once she arrives, Korra gets into a fight with some local gangs, and she's arrested by Lin Baifong, who leads Republic City's metal-bending police force. Lin is also the daughter of Toph Baifong from the original series. Eventually, Tenzin steps in to help Korra and lets her stay with him. In the meantime, a new bad guy named Amon appears. He leads the Equalist movement, which is against benders, and wants the non-benders to join them. They're gaining a lot of followers because they believe benders have too much power, and some of them are even kidnapping benders. Nobody knows what they're doing to them yet. While on the island, Korra is really frustrated because she can't seem to figure out airbending. Against Tenzin's wishes, who wanted her to remain on the island, she goes to watch a pro-bending match at Republic City's arena. There, she meets Bolin and Mako, 2 brothers on the Fire Ferrets pro-bending team. They're short one member, so Korra steps in to help, even though she's not experienced. Surprisingly, she wins the match by using earth-bending techniques. Tenzin is impressed and lets her stay on the team. To cover their pro-bending fees required for their team to remain in the pro-bending tournament, Bolin finds himself in a dangerous situation after accepting a job from a shady group, the Triple Threat Triad. When they go to find him at night, they get followed and stopped by the Equalists, Amon's followers. At an Equalist gathering, Korra learns more about the anti-bending movement and their mysterious leader, Amon. He demonstrates how he can take away the bending powers of the benders. Thankfully, Mako and Korra rescue Bolin before Amon can do the same to him. A politician named Tarrlok on the Republic City Council puts together a team to catch Amon. He convinces Korra to join, even though she's not too keen on it. Mako, on the other hand, starts a romantic relationship with Asami Sato, the daughter of a wealthy industrialist who sponsors the Fire Ferrets in the pro-bending competition. As the task force works, Korra decides to challenge Amon to a one-on-one fight, but it's a trap, and she's captured by the Equalists. Surprisingly, Amon doesn't take away her bending at that moment, but he suggests he might do it later. Tenzin eventually finds Korra, and she's deeply traumatized and scared after the attack. Mako starts dating Asami, which makes Korra jealous. She spends an evening hanging out with Bolin instead. But things get complicated when she kisses Mako, which upsets Bolin and causes tension within the Fire Ferrets. Eventually, they all forgive each other and make it to the championship match against the arrogant Wolfbats, who have won the championship 3 times in a row. Amon threatens to attack the pro-bending arena if the council doesn't cancel the championship. Chief Lin Biafong promises to protect the stadium, but the Wolfbats win the match unfairly by bribing the referees to ignore their foul play. After the match, the Equalists infiltrate the arena and use electric gloves to incapacitate Chief Lin's metalbenders. Amon then takes away the Wolfbats' bending abilities in front of a shocked crowd. Korra and Lin fight the Equalists, but they manage to escape in an airship, leaving the arena heavily damaged. After the failure, Tarrlok demands Lin's resignation as chief of police, and on the other hand, Mako and Bolin move into the Sato mansion. While visiting them, Korra overhears hints that Hiroshi Sato might be working with the Equalists. She tells Chief Lin and Tenzin, but they can't find any evidence. However, one of the workers from the factory gives Korra a piece of paper asking them to meet under the bridge. They go and he tells them that he is an ex-Equalist and reveals that Sato has a secret factory under his mansion where he's making weapons for the Equalists. When Korra, Tenzin, and Lin investigate the factory, they're ambushed by Equalists using large combat machines built by Sato. It turns out to be a trap, and Lin's metal-bending officers are captured and taken to Amon. Luckily, Mako, Bolin, and Sato's own daughter Asami beat her father and other Equalist soldiers. They rescue her friends. Lin decides to step down from her position to rescue her officers, and Korra offers Mako, Bolin, and Asami a safe place on Tenzin's Air Temple Island. At the inauguration of new police chief Saikon, he promises to support Tarrlok's task force, which leads to a quarrel between Tenzin, Korra, and Tarrlok. Korra is frustrated by her inability to airbend, and Tenzin suggests seeking help from her past lives. Korra, Asami, Mako, and Bolin form a new group called Team Avatar to patrol the city and capture Equalists, much to Tarrlok's disapproval. Tarrlok imposes a curfew on all non-benders and orders the arrest of a group of people who defy the curfew. Korra tries to free the civilians, and he arrests her friends to stop her. Later, she confronts him in private, and he proposes to release her friends if she follows his wishes. However, Korra realizes that Tarrlok is corrupt and rejects his offer. They engage in a bending battle, but Tarrlok reveals a dark secret. He can bloodbend, which allows him to manipulate a person's body. He easily captures Korra and takes her to a cabin outside Republic City. Tarrlok locks Korra in a platinum box in the mountains, publicly claiming that Equalists abducted her. In response, Lin takes action to free Korra's friends from prison. With assistance from Tenzin, the group infiltrates an Equalist hideout, where Lin releases her captured metalbenders. However, they discover that the Equalists are not involved in Korra's disappearance. They go back and confronts Tarrlok at City Hall. A witness exposes his bloodbending abilities and the whole story of Korra's abduction. Tarrlok uses this dark power to incapacitate the group and makes his escape. Meanwhile, Korra delves into Aang's past through her connection to the Avatar spirit, learning that 42 years ago, the notorious criminal Yakan used bloodbending to evade justice. Aang responded by removing Yakan's bending abilities. Tarrlok reaches the hideout and confirms that he is Yakan's son and had aimed to control Republic City through political means rather than criminal activities. After the attack at the underground factory, the Equalists trace Tarrlok back to Korra's location, and his bloodbending proves ineffective against Amon, who possesses the ability to permanently strip benders of their powers. Korra manages to escape and is reunited with her loyal polar bear dog, Naga, who assists in her return to her friends. After recovering from her ordeal, Korra tells her story, and Tenzin asks Lin to protect his family. However, Tenzin is attacked at City Hall and learns that other council members have been captured by Equalists, who are launching a full-scale attack on the city. Amon's airships bomb Republic City, but Tenzin wires the United Forces, the military of the United Republic, for help. Equalists, mecha tanks, capture Chief Saikon and many officers. Avatar and her friends rescue Tenzin. Meanwhile, Tenzin's wife Pema gives birth to their fourth child. Equalists airships approach Air Temple Island, but Lin, aided by Tenzin's airbending children, defeats the invaders. Korra goes into hiding, and Tenzin's family flees to protect the last airbenders. Lin is captured but refuses to reveal Korra's whereabouts and is subsequently stripped of her bending. Korra's team enters the city sewers, and General Iroh, the grandchild of Fire Lord Zuko, responds to Republic City's plea for help with a fleet of United Forces warships. Korra and her friends hide in an underground hobo camp while they wait for General Iroh's fleet to arrive. However, when Iroh's fleet does show up, it's quickly disabled by Equalist mines, aircraft, and torpedoes. Korra saves Iroh from drowning, and they rejoin the rest of the group. Korra and Mako set out to find Amon, while Iroh, Bolin, and Asami work on sabotaging the Equalist airbase to prevent Commander Bumi's relief fleet from being sunk. Commander Bumi is Tenzin's older brother. But Korra stops them and says she will not join them in that mission. She will go to face Amon. Mako does not want her to be alone in her fight, so he also joins her. While on their way to the island, they stumble upon Tarrlok, who is being held captive on Air Temple Island. Tarrlok apologizes for how he treated Korra and reveals that Amon is actually his brother, Notak. They are the northern waterbender and learned bloodbending from their father Yakan. Notak ran away due to the abuse they suffered from their father. Meanwhile, the assault on the Equalist mountain airbase faces difficulties when the attackers encounter an electric fence. Bolin, Asami, and Iroh are captured by Hiroshi Sato and the Equalists but are later rescued by Naga. Asami and Bolin face off against Hiroshi and his mecha tanks, while Iroh takes care of the Equalist bombers. Korra and Mako confront Amon during an Equalist rally and reveal his true identity as a bender. Amon denies it but reveals that he has captured Tenzin and his family. Korra and Mako manage to free them, but Amon proves too powerful for them and takes away Korra's bending abilities, except for airbending, which she later unlocks and uses against him. Amon is expelled by her and falls into the sea, exposing him publicly as a waterbender. He flees Republic City, taking Tarrlok with him, who uses an electrified glove to blow up their speedboat, and they both meet a tragic end. At the South Pole, Katara tries to heal Korra's severed connection to water, earth, and firebending, but she is unable to do so. Korra sits at the edge of a cliff, devastated. However, Aang's spirit intervenes and fully restores her spiritual connection and bending abilities. Korra enters the Avatar state and uses her power of energy bending to restore Lin's bending abilities. Everyone witnesses her ability to restore the bending abilities of others, and Tenzin addresses her as Avatar Korra. Korra and Mako admit their feelings toward each other, starting their relationship. 6 months have passed since the defeat of Amon and the Equalists. Korra believes she has mastered airbending, Mako is working as a policeman, Bolin is struggling in pro-bending with the new fire ferrets, and Asami is trying to keep future industries afloat. The Team Avatar members join Tenzin and his family for a visit to the Southern Water Tribe during the winter solstice to attend the Glacier Spirits Festival. However, the festivities are disrupted when a dark spirit goes on a rampage. Neither the Avatar Korra nor Tenzin can calm or repel the spirit. Korra's uncle, Unlak, who is also the chief of the Northern Water Tribe, ultimately manages to soothe the spirit's anger using a unique form of waterbending with a spiritual aspect. Despite her father Tonrak's reservations and his strained relationship with his brother Unlak, Korra decides to apprentice herself to Unlak to continue her spiritual development. This decision causes a rift between her and her previous mentor Tenzin. Korra, along with her friends and Unlak's children, Desna and Eska, go to the South Pole. He leads her to the South Pole to open up the spirit portal residing deep within the frozen tundra. Unlak wants Korra to bring back the Southern Lights, a natural phenomenon that's been missing for a long time. During this journey, Korra learns that her father was banished from the Northern Water Tribe for causing a spirit rampage. Tensions between Korra and her father grow as she discovers the truth about his banishment from the North after having destroyed a sacred spirit forest. She also discovers that her father and Tenzin were responsible for her being isolated when she was young. After another spirit attack, Korra sends her father home. At the South Pole, Korra successfully brings back the Southern Lights by opening a blocked spirit portal, a gateway to the spirit world. This portal regulates the flow of spiritual energy between the two worlds. When they return, they find that the Northern Water Tribe has occupied the South on Unlak's orders, aiming for a reunification of the two tribes. At the Southern Air Temple, Jinora, Tenzin's daughter, feels a strong connection to the statues of past avatars, especially her grandfather Aang and another ancient avatar whose identity is unknown. As the Southern Water Tribe resists northern occupation, Unlak proposes a plan to Korra. He suggests that she opens the northern spirit portal, while he promises to protect the southern one. Unlak claims that this will strengthen the connection between humans and spirits, preventing further dark spirit attacks. Meanwhile, a quirky inventor and entrepreneur from the southern tribe named Varric, who is suffering due to Unlak's blockade, starts a rebellion. During this time, Korra foils an attempted abduction of Unlak by southern rebels. She also tries to mend her relationship with her mother, Senna, and her father, Tonrak. However, things take a dark turn when Unlak accuses them of conspiring to assassinate him. Elsewhere, at the Southern Air Temple, Ikki, one of Tenzin's children, goes missing. Tenzin, Kaya, and Bumi begin a search for her, while reminiscing about their childhood and their late father, Avatar Aang. After her father is sentenced to life in prison for supposedly conspiring to assassinate Unlak, Korra discovers that Unlak had orchestrated the trial. She also learns that Tonrak had been banished from the northern tribe long ago, where he was expected to become the chief. With the assistance of her friends and the eccentric Varric, Korra manages to free Tonrak and other rebels who were wrongly condemned. She also prevents Bolin from being forced into a marriage with Eska. Korra makes a vow to seek support from the United Republic for the Southern Rebellion against the Northern occupation. At the Southern Air Temple, Ikki and Tenzin reconcile with their siblings, bringing some moments of harmony amidst the turmoil. In Republic City, tensions escalate between people from the Southern and Northern Water tribes after a cultural center from the Southern tribe is bombed. Mako, who has returned to the police force, investigates the culprits. Meanwhile, Varric produces anti-Northern propaganda movers featuring Bolin. Korra tries to convince President Reiko to send troops to support the Southern Rebellion, but he refuses. In a conflicted moment, Mako reveals Korra's plan to involve General Iroh and the United Forces to Reiko. Korra embarks on a sea voyage to the Fire Nation to seek the Fire Lord's support for their cause. However, she is pursued by Eska and Desna, and their journey takes a dangerous turn when they encounter a massive dark spirit that swallows them whole. Mako and Asami team up to investigate the theft of a shipment of mecha tanks from Future Industries meant for the Southern rebels. They work with the Triple Threat Triads to set up a sting operation but end up being betrayed, with Asami's warehouses also being robbed. In a desperate move, Asami sells a controlling share of Future Industries to Varric. Eventually, Mako discovers that Varric is behind the bombings and thefts, but he lacks the evidence to convince his superiors. Meanwhile, Korra, suffering from amnesia, is found on a Fire Nation island after being swallowed by a dark spirit. While being healed by the Fire Sages, Korra delves into her past lives and embarks on a journey through the experiences of Wan, the very first avatar who lived 10,000 years ago. At that time, humans lived on the shells of giant lion turtles to protect themselves from the dangers of the spirit world and other threats. Wan and his friends struggle with poverty and hunger under the rule of a nepotistic family in their city. The lion turtles grant humans temporary bending abilities when they venture into the wilds for protection. However, when Wan uses his firebending inside the city to steal food for his friends, he is banished from the city but allowed to keep his firebending. He survives by befriending forest spirits, but his journey takes a turn when he encounters two powerful battling spirits. One of the spirits seeks Wan's help as it's held down by the other. He intervenes, inadvertently freeing the spirit he helped. This spirit, Raava, reveals herself as the spirit of light and peace, while the other spirit, Vaatu, is the spirit of darkness and war. Wan's actions unintentionally set in motion an age of darkness for the world. Wan discovers a new city on the back of a lion turtle where airbenders reside. However, Vaatu, the spirit of darkness, threatens to destroy the world by turning other spirits dark. Determined to stop Vaatu, Wan decides to master additional elements with Raava's help and prepare for the upcoming Harmonic convergence. During this event, Vaatu and a weakened Raava will battle for the world's fate. When Raava's attempts to prevent a war between humans and spirits initiated by Vaatu fail, they eventually reach the Southern Spirit Portal and enter the spirit world to confront Vaatu. To fight him, Raava temporarily merges with Wan. The battle is tough, but when Harmonic convergence begins, Wan and Raava permanently fuse, becoming the first avatar. They imprison Vaatu in the Tree of Time. Wan convinces the spirits to return to the spirit world and seals the portals, becoming the bridge between the two realms. Years later, a dying Wan expresses regret to Raava for not bringing peace to the world. However, Raava assures him that their journey is just beginning, as they will continue to live through the avatar cycle of reincarnation. Korra awakens with her memories restored, determined to stop Unlak's mysterious plans for the upcoming Harmonic convergence, which is only weeks away. Korra turns to Tenzin for help in entering the spirit world, but their efforts prove fruitless, causing frustration for Tenzin. However, Jinora steps in and displays a strong connection to the spirits, guiding Korra instead. In Republic City, Mako continues his investigation into Varric. When Asami tries to comfort him, the police raid Mako's apartment. They discover planted evidence, courtesy of Varric, suggesting Mako's involvement in the thefts from future industries. This leads to Mako's second arrest. Meanwhile, at the South Pole, Unlak attempts to open the sealed North Pole portal but fails. He reports his progress to Vaatu, who assures him that Korra will ultimately come to them. In the spirit world alongside Jinora, Korra faces challenges in dealing with the complex relationships between spirits. When they become separated, Korra is transformed into a childlike version of herself. Iroh, who now resides in the spirit world, comes to her rescue. He imparts important lessons to her, emphasizing the need for emotional control in the spirit world. Korra learns how to navigate to the Tree of Time, where the spirit portals converge. Meanwhile, Jinora discovers Wan Shi Tong's library and convinces the Spirit of Knowledge to teach her about the spirit portals. Jinora realizes that Vaatu's seal can be broken if both portals are open during harmonic convergence. However, she also uncovers Wan Shi Tong's collaboration with Unlak. In an attempt to rescue Jinora, Korra is coerced by Unlak into opening the northern portal. After a brief battle, she is saved by a friendly spirit but is forcibly ejected from the spirit world without Jinora. Jinora's physical body remains in a comatose state, separated from her spirit. Bolin visits his brother Mako in prison, where Mako tries to warn him about Varric's schemes. Bolin, initially skeptical, attends the finale of his Movers series, which President Reiko also attends. During the performance, Bolin thwarts an apparent kidnapping attempt on President Reiko. When he questions one of the kidnappers, the man points fingers at Varric, leading to Varric's arrest and Mako's release. Korra informs President Reiko about the impending harmonic convergence and Unlak's plans, but Reiko decides to keep the army in Republic City for defense. In her quest for support, Korra turns to Varric, who agrees to lend her his personal battleship. Meanwhile, at the South Pole, Tonrak is defeated in a grueling duel by Unlak. Senna delivers distressing news to Korra and her friends. The Southern Resistance has been defeated, and Tonrak has been captured. Meanwhile, Jinora's condition worsens as harmonic convergence draws near. With little time left, Korra and her friends launch a daring frontal assault on the heavily fortified South Pole. Unfortunately, everyone except Bumi is captured. Bumi, with his seemingly exaggerated tales, manages to single-handedly defeat all opposition, leading to the rescue of Korra and her friends. As harmonic convergence approaches, Korra, along with many allies, follows Unlak into the spirit portal. Asami takes the injured Tonrak to Katara for healing, while Tenzin, Kaya, and Bumi search for Jinora. Korra heads to close the portals, while Mako and Bolin confront Unlak. It's revealed that Unlak intends to merge with Vaatu, becoming a dark avatar and seeking to rule the world. Despite Korra's efforts to close the portal, she arrives too late, and harmonic convergence commences, freeing Vaatu for the first time in 10,000 years. Korra tries to imprison Vaatu while Mako and Bolin do their best to prevent Unlak from entering the spirit world. With assistance from Desna and Eska, Unlak overpowers Mako and Bolin and ambushes Korra. He merges with Vaatu, transforming into the Dark Avatar. Korra and Unlak engage in an intense battle in their respective avatar states. In the spirit world, Tenzin and his siblings encounter Iroh, who provides guidance on finding Jinora. They venture into the treacherous fog of lost souls, a place that torments humans with self-doubt. Kaya and Bumi succumb to the fog, and Tenzin nearly does as well. However, a vision of Aang helps Tenzin confront his doubts, allowing him to temporarily clear the fog and free his siblings. This experience leads Tenzin to accept his destiny as distinct from his father's for the first time. While Mako and Bolin persuade Eska and Desna to release them, they are unable to assist Korra in time. Vaatu tears Raava, his counterpart, from Korra, severing her connection to her past lives. Jinora senses the destruction of Raava and rushes to help. Unlak transforms into Unavaatu, an immensely powerful dark spirit, and departs for the physical world with the intent to reshape it according to his own vision. Tenzin and his siblings find Korra and her friends badly injured and unconscious. Kaya heals their wounds, and Korra expresses her belief that she may be the last avatar now that Raava is gone. Meanwhile, Unavaatu launches an attack on Republic City, and Varric manages to escape from prison. In the spirit world, Tenzin guides Korra to the Tree of Time and instructs her to meditate within it. During her meditation, Korra unlocks a previously untapped spiritual power. She teleports to Republic City where she discovers a fragment of raava within Vaatu. This revelation shows that the spirits of light and darkness are interconnected, and that one will always regenerate from the other. Jinora's spirit illuminates the fragment, and Korra extracts raava, purifying Unavaatu, defeating Vaatu, and ultimately killing Unalak. Tenzin, Kaya, Bumi, Mako, Bolin, Desna, and Eska protect Korra's body from dark spirit attacks. Korra and Raava reunite and use harmonic convergence to merge once more. Although the avatar spirit is restored, Korra's connection with the previous avatars appears to be lost. After thoughtful consideration, Korra decides to leave the spirit portals open, believing that spirits and humans can learn to coexist and should be given the opportunity to do so. She also proclaims the Southern Water Tribe's independence from the North, establishing it as a separate state. While Korra and Mako end their romantic relationship, they commit to remaining friends. Korra declares that the world is entering a new era. 2 weeks after harmonic convergence, spirit vines start covering parts of Republic City, and Korra is unable to remove them. As a result, President Reiko banishes her from the city. Across the world, people begin to spontaneously acquire the ability to airbend, including Bumi. Tenzin, Korra, and their friends set off on an airship journey to try and gather these newfound airbenders and establish a new air nomad nation. At the same time, a dangerous criminal named Zaheer, who has gained airbending skills, manages to escape from a remote prison. His newfound abilities pose a significant threat. While traveling across the Earth Kingdom with Team Avatar and Jinora, Tenzin discovers that most of the new airbenders are hesitant to join the new Air Nation and change their lives. However, they manage to recruit their first member, Kai, a clever young thief trying to evade Earth Kingdom authorities. At the same time, Zaheer frees 2 dangerous individuals, the Earthbender Gazan and the armless waterbender Minghua, from their respective prisons. It becomes clear that Zaheer is determined to capture or eliminate the Avatar. In another part of the world, the elderly Zuko travels to the North Pole in pursuit of the last member of Zaheer's group. Team Avatar arrives in Ba Sing Se to search for new airbenders. They receive a mixed welcome from Queen Hu Ting, who holds a grudge against Avatar Aang for supposedly manipulating her father during his reign. In an effort to gain the Queen's cooperation, Korra reluctantly agrees to assist with tax collection, fending off bandits alongside Asami during the mission. However, the Queen denies the existence of airbenders in the city. Meanwhile, Kai, a member of their group, decides to go off on his own to pickpocket. While searching for Kai, Mako and Bolin encounter the family of their deceased father. They discover that the Dai Li, the city's secret police, are capturing new airbenders. Kai himself gets arrested and is told he'll be conscripted into the army. At the North Pole, Zuko, along with the new chiefs of the Northern Water Tribe, Desna and Eska, and Tonrak visit Pali, a dangerous firebender and the last imprisoned comrade of Zaheer. At the North Pole, Zaheer and his team successfully free Pali from her icy prison, revealing her remarkable combustion-bending abilities. Meanwhile, in Ba Sing Se, Lin arrives to warn Korra about the danger to her life. With Lin's assistance, Team Avatar manages to rescue the press-ganged airbenders from captivity. After evading both the Dai Li and the Earth Queen's anger, Tenzin leads the rescued airbenders to the Northern Air Temple. Meanwhile, Lin, Korra, and her friends continue their search for more airbenders in other locations. Team Avatar reaches Zaofu, a city made of metal and governed by Suyin Biafong, Lin's half-sister. Opal, a new airbender and Suyin's daughter, joins their ranks. Korra starts training Opal in airbending, but struggles to reconcile Lin and Suyin. Meanwhile, Zaheer infiltrates Air Temple Island in Republic City, seeking Korra. Although he is identified and attacked by Kaya, he manages to escape. Korra continues her metal-bending training under Suyin, while Lin grapples with her past. She remembers a traumatic incident from her early police career when she was scarred by Suyin during an arrest, which led to her sister's banishment. Toph, their mother, concealed the incident and resigned as police chief. After a heated confrontation, the sisters finally reconcile. Meanwhile, Zaheer and his group escape Republic City, where they have a high-speed chase with the police. He demonstrates his ability to enter the spirit world, allowing him to locate the Avatar. In the Northern Air Temple, Tenzin struggles to teach the new airbenders about air nomad culture. Following Bumi's advice, he enforces a rigorous training regimen that only adds to their stress and fatigue. However, Jinora and Kai stumble upon a group of young sky bison and are captured by poachers. Using Jinora's spiritual connection, they call out to the other airbenders for assistance, and together, they overpower the criminals. Tenzin, impressed by Jinora's leadership and mastery of airbending, promises to consider granting her the prestigious airbending master tattoos. In Zaofu, Korra and Bolin continue their metal bending training, while Opal departs for the Northern Air Temple. However, during the night, Zaheer and his team manage to infiltrate Zaofu and capture Korra. Fortunately, Team Avatar, along with Lin, Suyin, and a group of metal benders, stages a successful rescue mission, and the assailants are forced to retreat. Upon investigating the situation, Korra and her friends uncover the truth that Suyin's advisor, Aiwei, has been secretly aiding Zaheer. Although they attempt to capture him, Aiwei escapes through a hidden tunnel. With Suyin's assistance, Team Avatar leaves Zaofu to pursue the attackers. Team Avatar tracks Aiwei to the Misty Palms Oasis, where Korra enters the spirit world to confront Aiwei and Zaheer. During the confrontation, Zaheer throws Aiwei into the fog of lost souls, revealing the goals of his secret society, the Red Lotus. They aim to overthrow governments, believing that chaos is the natural order of the world. While Zaheer keeps Korra occupied, his allies close in on her physical body. Bolin and Mako are unable to stop them, and Asami, fleeing with Korra's body on Naga, is captured by the Earth Queen's forces. The Red Lotus gives chase in an attempt to capture Korra. While being transported to Ba Sing Se, Korra and Asami manage to escape their cell and crash land the airship in the desert. With the help of the airship's crew, they survive an encounter with a massive desert creature and return to the oasis. In Ba Sing Se, the Red Lotus offers to exchange Mako and Bolin for Korra with the Earth Queen. However, after learning of Korra's escape, they launch an attack on the city, defeating the Dai Li. Zaheer, who now possesses airbending abilities, uses them to suffocate the Earth Queen, resulting in her death. The Red Lotus proceeds to destroy part of the city's inner walls, proclaiming it as belonging to the people, which leads to chaos and unrest. Zaheer releases Mako and Bolin with a message for Korra. Meanwhile, at the oasis, Asami and Korra reunite with Tarrlok, Zuko, and Lin and learn about the unfolding revolution in Ba Sing Se. As chaos engulfs the inner city of Ba Sing Se, leading to looting and destruction, with riots and fires spreading into the outer city, Mako, Bolin, and their family seek refuge at the Misty Palms Oasis. There, they inform Korra about Zaheer's threat to kill the Airbenders at the Northern Air Temple unless she surrenders to him. Korra contacts Tenzin using the Metal Clan's radio after communicating with Iroh in the spirit world. Just as the Red Lotus launches their attack on the Northern Air Temple, Tenzin and his siblings attempt to defend the temple, while the other airbenders try to escape. Despite their efforts, the Red Lotus overwhelms the defenders, throws Kya and Bumi off the mountain, and subdues the exhausted and badly beaten Tenzin. Korra agrees to surrender herself to the Red Lotus in exchange for the safety of the Airbenders. However, when she arrives at the Northern Air Temple, her friends discover that Zaheer and his group have already taken the hostages away. Gazan traps them with lava, but they manage to escape thanks to Bolin's newly acquired lava-bending skills, though the temple sustains significant damage in the process. Meanwhile, Lin, Suyin, and her metal benders engage in a fierce battle with Pi Li. Suyin ultimately breaks the deadlock by using Pi Li's own combustion bending against her, resulting in her demise. In another part of the temple, Zaheer confronts Korra and her father, Tarrlok. During the struggle, Tarrlok is thrown off a cliff but is saved by the metal bender Captain Kuvira. Zaheer manages to escape with the unconscious Korra, utilizing his newfound ability to fly. The Red Lotus tortures Korra, chaining her and poisoning her with mercury. Their plan is to push her to the brink of death, triggering the Avatar state, and then kill her, thereby ending the cycle of the Avatar's rebirth. However, Korra's intense anger and determination enable her to overpower her captors. She engages Zaheer in a Veer's battle in the skies. In the meantime, her friends successfully locate and rescue the Airbenders. Mako uses electricity to defeat Minghua, and he and Bolin manage to escape, as Gazan inadvertently causes the Red Lotus's hideout to collapse on himself. As Korra's condition worsens due to the poison, Jinora leads the Airbenders in creating a massive air vortex, which pulls Zaheer out of the sky. Zaheer is captured, and Suyin uses her metal-bending skills to remove the poison from Korra's body. 2 weeks later, in Republic City, a weakened and wheelchair-bound Korra witnesses Tenzin anoint Jinora as an airbending master. Tenzin rededicates the air nomads to a nomadic life of serving the world, following Korra's example. 3 years after Zaheer's defeat, preparations are underway to crown Prince Wu as the Earth King, with Mako serving as his bodyguard. In the Earth Kingdom, Opal and Kai attempt to protect a community from bandits, but they struggle to do so effectively. Kuvira, now known as the Great Uniter, arrives with an army that includes Bolin, Varrick, and Zhu Li. She offers the local governor supplies and protection in exchange for his state's submission to her authority. The governor reluctantly agrees, revealing that this is part of a broader pattern as Kuvira progressively consolidates control over the Earth Kingdom, leading to concerns about her increasingly authoritarian rule. Meanwhile, a disheartened Korra participates in and loses cage matches, seemingly having abandoned her role as the Avatar. In the 3 years following her traumatic experience with the Red Lotus, Korra has been on a slow journey to physical recovery. She has undergone physical therapy and received healing from Katara at the South Pole. However, the emotional scars and trauma from her past experiences weigh heavily on her. She doubts whether she will ever fully regain her former self, and she hasn't accessed the Avatar state since the attack. To cope with her inner turmoil, Korra has distanced herself from her family and friends. She pretends to have returned to Republic City but is actually wandering the world aimlessly, seeking solitude and avoiding human contact. She is plagued by a dark vision of herself as she appeared during the battle with Zaheer, which seems to haunt her wherever she goes. During her travels, a spirit guides her to the Banyan Swamps, a location reminiscent of events from Avatar, The Last Airbender. There, she encounters her doppelganger apparition, which chases and attacks her. Korra experiences hallucinations, including a drowning sensation. She eventually awakens in the presence of Toph Beifong. During Wu's coronation in Republic City, Kuvira shocks everyone by refusing to hand over her power to the newly crowned Earth King. Instead, she declares her intention to unite the territories under her control into a new Earth Empire. This decision creates divisions among world leaders, including Suyin, who opposes Kuvira's actions. It also strains the relationship between Bolin and Mako, with Mako tasked with protecting the unpopular Wu from Kuvira's supporters. Meanwhile, in the Banyan Swamp, Toph agrees to help Korra regain her physical and mental strength. However, her unconventional methods involve tough love and rigorous earthbending training, pushing Korra to confront her inner demons. Toph discovers traces of residual metal poison within Korra's body but is unable to remove it, as Korra subconsciously resists the process due to her past traumas. As Korra undergoes her grueling training, Tenzin sends Jinora, Ikki, and Milo on a mission to search for the missing avatar. Additionally, Varrick conducts experiments on spirit vines, which he plans to use for Kuvira's benefit. While the young Airbenders search for Korra, Ikki has a brief encounter with 2 Earth Empire soldiers. She gathers information from them, which leads her and her siblings to the Foggy Swamp. In the swamp, Korra continues to grapple with haunting visions of her past enemies and struggles with her trauma. However, with the guidance and wisdom of Toph Beifong, Korra learns to confront her fears. She connects with Jinora, Ikki, and Milo through the roots of the Great Banyan Grove tree and listens to their heartfelt pleas for her to embrace her role as the Avatar once more. Toph's advice proves instrumental, as Korra manages to let go of her inner turmoil, expel the remaining poison from her body, and re-enter the powerful Avatar state. As Kuvira's army advances towards Zaofu, Suyin stands her ground and refuses to let her city become a part of Kuvira's new empire. Korra attempts to negotiate a peaceful resolution, but her efforts prove futile. Meanwhile, Varrick and Bolin begin to comprehend the oppressive nature of Kuvira's regime, and they make an attempt to escape. Their escape plan is thwarted by Kuvira's fiancé, Badr Jr., who is Suyin's son. Zhu Li decides to align herself with Kuvira, while Varrick is coerced into developing weapons using the spirit vines. Bolin faces the grim prospect of being sent to a re-education camp. In Republic City, Asami reconnects with her imprisoned father, Hiroshi. After capturing Suyin and her twin sons during an infiltration mission in Kuvira's camp, Kuvira agrees to a duel with Korra to determine control of Zaofu. Despite being free from the effects of the Red Lotus poison, Korra is still struggling and Kuvira takes advantage of her vulnerability. Kuvira's taunts and strategic moves consistently outmaneuver Korra. In a desperate bid to gain the upper hand, Korra enters the Avatar state, preparing to unleash a devastating attack. However, during this moment, she has a hallucination where she sees her dark specter in place of Kuvira and collapses to the ground. Opal, Jinora, Ikki, and Milo intervene to rescue Korra, and they escape on the back of an air bison. Meanwhile, Varrick and Bolin manage to escape after Varrick comes up with an improvised spirit vine bomb. Kuvira forces the citizens of Zaofu to surrender, and she compels Badr Jr. and Zhu Li to continue their work on the vine superweapon. Korra, Asami, and Mako successfully rescue Wu from a train, and they hide him with Mako's family at Asami's mansion to keep him safe from Kuvira's clutches. In another part of the world, Bolin and Varrick come across people who have managed to escape from Kuvira's prison camps. These camps now imprison individuals who are not of Earth Kingdom descent, and Bolin and Varrick help these escapees find their way to freedom beyond the walls of Kuvira's expanding empire. In the swamp, Kuvira's forces begin harvesting the spirit tree's vines, furthering her agenda to harness their power for her own purposes. In Republic City, both Fire Lord Izumi and Tenzin reject Raiko's plan for an offensive against Kuvira, even after Bolin and Varrick inform them about her research on vine weapons. As a response to Kuvira's spirit vine harvesting in the swamp, vines in Republic City become hostile and start attacking people, including Jinora, trapping them in the spirit world. Korra's ongoing psychological trauma prevents her from meditating into the spirit world, so she decides to confront the real Zaheer in his prison, seeking his guidance. Zaheer, appalled by the rise of a tyrant like Kuvira, who goes against the principles of the Red Lotus, offers to assist Korra. He helps her confront and overcome the fear and trauma from her past experiences, enabling her to enter the spirit world. There, Korra reconnects with Raava, whom she hasn't communicated with for years. Using her newly restored ability to connect with the spirits, Korra calms the agitated vines and rescues Jinora and the other human captives. Meanwhile, Bolin's attempts to reconcile with Opal fail, but he agrees to join her and Lin in a mission to rescue their family from Kuvira's grasp. Near Zaofu, Opal, Lin, Bolin, and Toph work together to track down the imprisoned Beifong family members. They locate a facility where Badr Jr. and Zhu Li are testing a powerful vine energy supercannon. While formulating a rescue plan, tensions rise between Toph and Lin due to their previous estrangement. Zhu Li, who had pretended to be loyal to Kuvira, attempts to sabotage the weapon, but her actions are discovered by Kuvira. The rescue team manages to free the captive Beifongs, and they confront Kuvira and her forces. Despite their efforts, they are eventually overwhelmed by Kuvira's superior numbers and are forced to retreat. During the conflict, Lin and Toph find a degree of reconciliation. Zhu Li reveals that Kuvira is planning to launch an imminent attack on Republic City, aiming to reclaim the territories that the Earth Kingdom had previously ceded to the United Republic. Meanwhile, Korra's attempts to persuade the spirits to aid in the defense of Republic City prove unsuccessful. As Republic City faces the imminent threat of Kuvira's forces, Wu and Mako work together to evacuate the city's residents. Simultaneously, Asami and Varrick construct a fleet of flying mecha suits to defend the city from Kuvira's attack. However, Kuvira launches her assault earlier than anticipated. Kuvira's superweapon, now mounted on a colossal mecha, wreaks havoc on the Republic's navy, leaving President Reiko with no choice but to surrender. Meanwhile, Korra and the Airbenders manage to capture the mecha's creator, Badr Jr., in a desperate bid to convince Kuvira to end the attack. Badr Jr. threatens to withhold his expertise from her. However, Kuvira orders the mecha to fire on his location, putting the Avatar and her allies in grave danger. Faced with the immense threat of Kuvira's colossal mecha, Korra and her allies desperately seek a way to bring it down. They realize that the exterior and joints of the mecha are crafted from rarefied platinum, rendering them impervious to metal bending. Numerous attempts, including paint bombs, lava bending, metal cables, collapsing buildings, Korra's bending prowess, and an electromagnetic pulse orchestrated by Varrick, prove ineffective at stopping the massive machine for an extended period. In a critical moment, Lin decides to free Hiroshi Sato, who devises a plan to infiltrate and disable the mecha from within. Osami Hiroshi and the recently engaged Varrick and Zhu Li outfit the remaining flight suits with plasma torches and engage the colossal mecha. Hiroshi makes the ultimate sacrifice by allowing the mecha to crush his flight suit, buying precious time to cut an opening into the interior of the mecha. This heroic act grants Korra's assault team access to the heart of the colossal machine. Inside the colossal mecha's control room, Korra and Kuvira engage in a fierce battle while Team Avatar works diligently to dismantle the giant from within. Su-yin and Lin manage to disable its arm and weapon systems, while Bolin and Mako locate and detonate its power source. Mako's actions come at a significant risk, nearly costing him his life, but their combined efforts succeed in breaking the mecha into several pieces. Korra and Kuvira's battle leads them to crash land in the city's spirit wilds, where Kuvira activates the discarded cannon, triggering a massive release of energy powered by the surrounding spirit vines. In a selfless act to prevent Kuvira's destruction, Korra enters the avatar state and harnesses the overwhelming spirit energy. She redirects it, creating a third portal into the spirit world. As they emerge into the spirit world, Kuvira and Korra reflect on their hardships and the mistakes they've made. Kuvira acknowledges her defeat and is subsequently arrested upon returning to the physical world. In the weeks that follow, at Zhu Li and Varrick's wedding, Prince Wu announces his intention to transition to democratic governance for the Earth Kingdom. Korra and Asami plan a journey together to the spirit world, symbolizing a new beginning for their relationship. The series ends with a powerful image of the two walking hand in hand into the newly created spirit portal. Subscribe and share. We'll get another video for you soon.